Thank you, Alan. I have to say I was most impressed with my very youthful picture that you're using, reminds me of a few years ago. Uh, First of all, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our 2021 Techworks Summit. Um, as Alan said, it's almost 2 years ago, that we held this event, and I know that our community values and love these events, and I'm delighted that we can have them. I have to apologize. I was hoping that this is actually the start of me coming out and meeting people, but I have to tell you that my wife has a medical vulnerability. She's fine, but she just has to be careful. And with the onset of the new variants, we were advised to continue to be careful. So that's what I'm doing. I'm hoping this is temporary, and I'll be out again, in the new year. Now, I know Alan and the team have prepared a great program for you. I really like to focus on a little bit about the last 2 years and a little bit about the future, but primarily also give you an very brief industry and market context, which sort of helps to understand why we're doing what we're doing. Last 20 months, like many other businesses and organizations, have been really exceptional for Techworks as well. I described them across my portfolio, including Techworks that I enjoy working with. It's been about survival and resilience building. And that has often meant back to basics, focus on your raison d'etre and the reason for existence and your customers, etc. And that's pretty much what most of the effort that Alan and the team have done, but also preparing the ground for 2022, which we are hoping, despite the new variant, would allow, getting back to growth and developing. I think where we are now, I look back, because I've been doing this job for a few years, there's no doubt the organization is stronger, with strong leaders. I was delighted, and I'll note this when he accepted to join as the CEO. His work and contribution have been instrumental, and I've really enjoyed working with him. In addition to capable and committed existing members, notably John and Stu, who have done great work, Alan has also brought on, over the last 21 months, a strong team, including Gillian, Steve, and Gonnie, whom I'm sure if you haven't met them, you will have an opportunity to do so. And you begin to see the strength that Alan is building in the organization. Now, we also have, as many of you know, and some of the board members are there, we have a very distinguished and supportive board across, the technology and financial community. I believe Simon Seeger, although I couldn't attend, and Simon is in US. He's prepared a virtual message, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. Now, as you will hear throughout today, and a little bit from me, we have a bigger focus on semiconductor segment, which was really where NMI and Techworks started. And as part of that, we've appointed a new board member in the form of John Doherty, who I believe is there, is an industry veteran, which I already know. I enjoy working with him and know that he will bring a lot of value to this segment. And you'll see in a minute why I think this segment is really important. I have a short speech, but I'm going to give you some key points why I'm excited. What I really like to do next is to briefly talk about the current and in the near future areas of focus for Techworks and why they're there. I mean, as ever, we are always guided by the community and the industry we represent. Of course, the board brings a lot of experience to the table and supports and guides those discussions. So I make these comments in those contexts. So firstly, one of our working group, the communities, is NMI Design Group, and following discussion at the board and also fair amount of membership consultation that Alan went through, we've chosen to put a bigger focus on AI. This is really supported by the community. And you hear more about that today. Specific areas for focus for us are actual use cases, because this is driven deployment, because this is driven from the fact that we believe AI will be relevant to everyone, and its deployment and use in the right way is really relevant to every industry, every application, etc. So focus on actual use cases. The second area of focus is difficult areas, stumbling blocks that slow that process. And I have a number of portfolio companies in AI, and I can tell you the two areas that everyone will talk about is testing and having access to training data or synthetic data. So you'll see Techworks with the community focusing, trying to solve real problems and understanding issues and enabling where AI could actually be deployed. And this is really ties in with Techworks and NMI in the early days, really focusing on areas that the community and the grassroots thought they had an issues. Now, I want to talk about the market as well, because tech is always cool and I'm a techie, but without the market and revenues and paying wages, we're not going to go very far. So the AI market in 2020 was about 60 billion. This market is growing at the rate of 40% annual growth. So it is really moving ahead. And by 2023, and you see a theme here emerging, this market will be over $1 trillion. Okay, so that's the first $1 trillion market that we as a community and also UK need to focus on. And the reason to sort of understand why that is the case is that some people see AI as the next internet. I actually think it's the bigger than that. It's a driver that goes across technological, social, and economic landscapes like never before, and we better be ready, not just on technology side, a whole host of other issues. So I think it's right that Techworks and our members are paying attention to this. The second area of focus is more the traditional, where Techworks started, the NMI manufacturing and semiconductor market. I mean, this market, I've been in the semiconductor industry for 30 plus years, and it's really great to see we are embarking on another major revival of this industry in a big way. And we're seeing 8% plus growth year on year. Now, this is no surprise. The reason it's really important, because I always look for what drives semiconductor industry. This is the occasion that there are several, not just one thing. So firstly, everything is going digital and online. It's a big thing. Look at what pandemic did in terms of demand for stuff. That is still going on in a big way. Secondly, many things, everything is connected, obviously, and many things working remote. I mean, the remote has become more acceptable. So that is another driver. The advent of AI, AI to me is a new way of programming things. I'm used to linear and nonlinear system. This is intelligent way of programming things, and it is going to touch everything. And of course, electrification and climate changes that we need to do. So in summary, the reason this industry is growing is because more intelligent, more smart, meaning more compute, more information, more data means storage, more communication means more network, wireless, etc., and issues around energy and electrification, etc. So there are multiple drivers behind this industry. So semiconductor industry is $500 billion this year or thereabout, and there's every sign that by early 2030 it will be over $1 billion, which is good news to all of us who really see this as a very significant enabling segment. The third area that I want to talk about is cybersecurity. With IoTSF, it's some initiative we started a while ago. I'm really passionate about it as well. The thing to realize is cybersecurity is a significant segment for many fronts, both in terms of societal and protection issues, but also as a market. It's about $150 billion today. And many people suggest it will be 500 billion by 2023. I disagree. I think it will be over $1 billion by 2023. And I tell you why I think that. I think there are many reasons, but I picked up 4 reasons that I think cybersecurity is and will become bigger and bigger as we go forward. One is growth in online. Everything is going online. You just need to look around you. People talk about subscription businesses. You buy your toys, connected content, absolutely everything. And then add to that Internet of Things, devices connect, needing security, etc. The third area, which is really close to my heart, is Internet misinformation. We have had an issue that this huge positive power of Internet has been hijacked by bad forces, and this is impacting people, businesses, and even democracies. So I believe this is something that needs an answer, and there are many amount of energy, money, and companies are focused in this area. So I think that the fourth part of this is, I'm sure it hasn't escaped you, that 21st century cybersecurity is also become a weapon between adversarial nations. So it is a big thing, and it will grow. The good thing about tech, it will always solve its problem, and I have no doubt it will solve this problem as well. It's just that the focus on it has occurred now. The last one I want to talk about is automotive and our work with Hossein. I mean, this is automotive market itself is getting to about 9 trillion by 2030. So, but the segment within it that is about technology, whether hardware and software, is about $1.5 billion. So you note that all of the markets we're focusing on segments are heading towards $1 trillion or plus. And this sort of makes sense because our community is focused on these areas as well. And as I said to you, we often get guidance from our members, and I would welcome more of that in terms of directing as to where you think things should be going on, etc. But Alan knows this well. A fifth area that I am very passionate about is the area of user interface and user experience. I think time has come for technologies to worry more about people than the tech itself and the way our technologies interact with people. So I like this space because it bridges tech and art. And in the UK, we have both strong technology and strong art. And I think this user experience, making tech more user-friendly and better experience is an area of massive growth, which would be relevant to many brands. Finally, I just one more point to make, and then I'll hand over to Alan. Those of you who know me, I'm not one of giving credit without any good reason. When the pandemic started, I mean, it did look like we're heading towards a brick wall in many places. And I can tell you, sitting in, I don't know, several board meetings, the first few weeks were quite concerning. But clearly the government took a lot of positive steps in terms of supporting the industry, the furlough scheme, various loans, etc., which I really thought was quick and to the point. But I had one big concern, and that was what happens to our startups, particularly pre-revenues. So I was really pleased and delighted and encouraged the arrival of the Future Fund. It was one of the most, I would say, it's a master stroke in terms of future of technology industry, because it has helped many of companies, and I know that for sure that will be the stars of the future. And Future Fund now has an extension or a new element to it called, which is about the scale-up businesses, etc., and that is helping those. I believe in the UK, and in fact in many countries, we need strong sovereign investment strategy and plans and I like to see one in the UK, not a reaction to pandemic, but as on perpetual basis. I'm really delighted that we have Lord Grimstone here today with us, and he know that he will explain a lot more about government's priorities and focus. At Techworks, we are very keen to align our activities to what matters. And I'm sure you all enjoy those, the keynote from Lord Grimstone. And I would like to thank him in advance for his support and engagement. With that, I'll stop and hand over to Alan.